Good morning. Today is my husband's birthday, so that means it's birthday cake baking time. So what I'm going to do today is, first time I've ever done it, is I'm going to make an orange crunch cake. An orange crunch cake, it's pretty famous at the Bubble Room in Captiva Island. If you watch my channel, you know we travel to Florida a lot, and so that's the first place we've ever tried it. They also sell the orange crunch cake at the local grocery stores, Bailey's and Jerry's, but my husband loves it and he has to get it every time we go down there, and so I'm trying to recreate it. I say recreate it because I googled orange crunch cake and there's like 15 different recipes out there. They are all slightly different. Half of them do promise to be the orange or the Bubble Room recipe, but you know, when you have more than one claiming that and they're all slightly different, I don't know what the original recipe is. So what I did was I'm basically combining 3 different recipes to make my own orange crunch cake, and hopefully my husband will like it. So to start, I'm just going to make the batter. As you know, I always use a boxed cake mix. It works. As long as you have awesome icing, the cake tastes just as great. Never had a complaint using boxed cake mix. And so the recipe, if you follow the back, it is 1 cup water, 1/3 cup butter, and 3 eggs. But I'm going to change it slightly different. Instead of the 1 cup water, I'm doing 1/2 cup water and 1/2 cup orange juice. And I am going to squeeze and make my own fresh orange juice. I'm also going to add 1/3 cup oil. I don't know why, that's just what one of the recipes said, even when they used a cake mix. So maybe because I'm substituting the water. So it's going to be the cake mix, 1/3 cup oil, 1/2 cup orange juice, 1/3 cup butter, and 3 eggs. Blend it all together in my KitchenAid. I forgot to mention the orange zest. One reason I am using fresh squeezed oranges is because I do need 2 tablespoons of orange zest. If you've never used zest, you just get one of these handy zesters, scrape it across the orange. Don't go too far because you don't want to get the white pith because it's a little bitter. You just want to lightly scrape across the top where you get the nice orange zest. All right, I said I was going to use 1/3 cup butter. I'm not. I reread the recipe. The oil is replacing the butter. I'm going to follow it exactly. And so instead of the 1/3 cup butter, you're using 1/3 cup oil. And that's fine by me. I usually use oil anyway. I was just wondering how I was going to get the butter to combine with the flour. So that's fine. There'll be plenty of butter in my icing. Here is the mixed batter and it tastes amazing. Let me go over the ingredients one more time. So it is 1 box of yellow cake mix, 3 eggs, 1/3 cup oil, 1/2 cup water, 1/2 cup orange juice, and 2 tablespoons orange zest. You might as well use freshly squeezed orange juice because you're going to need orange zest, and you get the orange zest from the outside of the orange. So to get 1/2 cup, I had 2 big oranges. It did take 1.5 of those big oranges just to get 1/2 cup. So I did end up using both oranges and just had a little extra sip of orange juice while I was making this cake. So next part is to make the crust. So it is going to be not like a crust, I'm sorry, a crunch layer. So it is 1/2 cup butter melted, chopped walnuts, and brown sugar, and graham crackers. All of this is going to be like crushed together. So I am going to chop my walnuts. It's 1/2 cup walnuts, 1/2 cup brown sugar, 1 cup graham crackers, and all of this, and 1/2 cup butter, all of it melted together. And then you're going to take 2 8-inch cake pans and press this mixture down, not on the sides, just on the bottom. It is a layer of crunch, not necessarily like a pie crust. You're not doing a pie crust, you're just doing a layer of crunch. So let me get these broken up. You're just going to do the typical thing of like breaking it in a Ziploc baggie with your, you know, hands, or bread roller or pie roller, whatever you call those, and then finally chop 1/2 cup of walnuts. 1 stick of butter is 1/2 cup. I think I showed 2 sticks earlier, but I'm only using 1 stick. And then one of these packages of graham crackers was pretty much the whole cup. There's like a little bit left over, but crushed down, that's the graham crackers, brown sugar, and the walnuts I chopped a little fine. So I'm gonna melt this butter and then mix everything together and spread it across the bottom of my prepared pans. You want to prepare your pans, even though these are non-stick, I'm still gonna prepare them. So like the old-fashioned way that your grandma used to do is like rub it with butter and then sprinkle that with flour, and that was the prepared. And I've done that, it just takes a lot of time. And so what I have is this, since I make so many cakes, I bought this Bake Easy from Wilton. You just spray it into the pan and it makes the cake so much easier to remove. And I've had this for like 2 years and I've made at least like a dozen cakes with it. So and I still have plenty left. So I don't remember how much it costs. I'll have a link down below, but I'm just saying you can make at least a dozen cakes with this and still have some left over. So I'm going to spray these cans and then put the crunch layer down. All right, this is the crunch layer, ingredients all mixed together. Oh my God, it smells so good. So I'm gonna divvy this up between the 2 pans and then press it down. So if you've had the cake before, you understand what the crunch layer is. If you haven't, just keep in mind, you're not making a crust, you're just making a delightful crunch layer is basically in between each cake. It's gonna be baked on the bottom of each cake, and then we're gonna flip the cake over, and then it's gonna be in between. So it's okay that you have spaces in between. You're not making a crust, you're just making a good crunchy in-between layer on the cake. So Monkey, my cat, you can hear her meowing. She thinks it's time for a snack, but I just gave her breakfast, so no Monkey. There she runs. No snack for you. All right. So that looks good. So now I take the batter and divvy that up between these 2 pans, and then you bake the cake as whatever the box says. Since these are non-stick pans, it's 325 at 25 to 30 minutes. Everyone's oven is different, so definitely at the last 5 to 10 minutes baking your cake, put the oven light on and keep checking because you don't want your cake to burn. All right, let me divvy that cake mix up, and then it's gonna go into the oven. I have the batter distributed between the 2 pans, and I just love how you can see the orange zest. I've never used orange zest in a cake mix before, so hopefully the orange taste will come through. I am very excited. All right, the cake's baked for exactly 30 minutes. Now I just put them on this cookie rack to cool. I like to get airflow underneath to help them cool. If you leave your cakes on top of your oven to cool, remember your oven is still hot even on top. Your stove is hot from the oven. So when you want to cool them, I suggest putting them on a rack like this. And you don't want to remove them from the pan right away because they're still warm, and the cake will break apart if you remove them too quickly while they're still warm. So let them cool down. As you can see, they're already separating from the edge. That Wilton's Easy Bake Cake thing is just perfect. And so I'm gonna let them cool for probably half hour. I'm gonna give it 10 more minutes, and then I'm gonna start making the icing. Now it's time to make the icing. So the icing is going to be 12 ounces of cream cheese. 1 container is 8 ounces, so it's basically 1.5 containers of cream cheese, 3/4 cup butter, 4 cups of powdered sugar, 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. This is Wilton's, this is clear vanilla. I do like the typical vanilla, but if you're wanting to make like white icing, this clear is good, because otherwise when you flavor icing with regular vanilla, it gives it like, you know, a creamish brownish tint. So That's why I have clear vanilla. And then it was a half teaspoon of vanilla, and then 1 tablespoon of orange extract, and then a whole orange zest, zest from 1 whole orange. And so the first step when you make the, this is basically like a type of buttercream icing. You want to cream together the cream cheese and the butter first, add the 2 flavorings, and then you slowly beat in your powdered sugar until it's all smooth. Now I'm going to cream the butter and the cream cheese together. I should mention that the butter and the cream cheese is room temperature. Whenever I make a cake, I always plan out the night before, and before I go to bed, I take the butter and the cream cheese out of the refrigerator and stick it on the counter so it's room temperature by the next morning. But since this is a cream cheese icing, after I'm done with the cake, I will refrigerate it. Most cakes I don't refrigerate, but with the cream cheese icing, I will. This is just the butter and the cream cheese creamed together, the 1 tablespoon of orange, orange extract, and then a half teaspoon of vanilla extract and the orange zest. Now I have to add the 4 cups of powdered sugar. This is the point where if you wanted your icing to be orange, that you would add the orange dye. I'm not doing that. I've seen a lot of cakes online where they did, and it does look absolutely beautiful, but my husband is sensitive to food dyes, and so I'm not gonna add the orange dye. But if you're okay with dyes, this is where I would start adding orange food coloring. It definitely makes it look pretty, but for my husband, I'm going the natural route. All right, this is the cream cheese frosting. This is actually the first time I've made a cream cheese frosting. It actually turned out pretty good. Definitely not as stiff as a buttercream. I was gonna pipe it, but I don't think I'm going to, because I don't know that it would actually hold the piping design. So the next step is to remove the cake from the pan. Now, if you wanted a perfectly, I'm doing a 2-layer, of course. If you wanted a perfectly level 2-layer, this is the part where you would take your bread knife and just cut across the top to make it even. I'm not gonna do that. This is just for me and my husband. It doesn't have to be 100% perfect, and I usually even it out with extra icing. So to me, I don't mind not leveling it out, but if you're particular and you want it completely level, you just take a bread knife like one of these and just cut across it so it's perfectly flat. But like I said, I'm not gonna do that. Now I'm gonna turn it over onto the cake pan for the first level. Look at that, it came out of the pan perfectly. So this is the crunch layer. Oh my God, it smells so good. So I'm just gonna spread a thin layer of icing onto this. Next comes the hardest part when you're making a 2-layer cake, is taking the top layer and flipping it over on top to hope it lands on the center. Even though this pan is the cake will come out great, I still loosen it up with a butter knife just to be on the safe side. I still do that. Don't know that it's necessary, but just force a habit, because you kind of do that with all your cakes. And so now I'm gonna flip it and hopefully it lands perfectly. We'll see. I haven't had a mess up yet, but knock on wood. Ta-da! I don't know, a little crumble right there. But for the most part, it worked. All right, now I am going to ice it, and I hope that's enough icing. We'll see. I iced the cake. I barely had enough frosting. There's still a couple breakthrough spots that I don't like, but maybe I overfrost. So I'm gonna stick it in the fridge for about 10 minutes so the icing can harden up. And while that's happening, I am going to cut up some oranges for garnish. This icing is just a little softer, probably because the ingredients are room temperature. So I want to stick it in the fridge so it can just harden up a little, like I said, before I do the garnish. I am done. This is the orange crunch cake. I accented it with some orange slices. I was gonna decorate it on top, maybe spell out happy birthday, but I'm not going to. Just leave it like this. It's just me and my husband, and it looks good. And now we're gonna taste test it because it smells good. It looks good. I bet it's gonna taste great. Happy birthday, Robert. So how's your cake look, honey?
Oh, it's wonderful. Beautiful.
I think you're
Looks
gonna
like the
be
real
amazed.
thing.
It
I
does
like
look like the real thing. And the crunch layer was a lot easier than I expected, so.
So much softer.
So it held up pretty good to the cutting it open. Nice 2 layers with the crunch. So now Robert's gonna taste it and tell me if he thinks this is, and that's my fork. Here you have, nope, that's your fork.
You need the little.
Tell me if you think this is the bubble room.
Really good.
All right. Robert says it's really, really good. I'm gonna taste test. Oh my God. The orange is very subtle. Can you tell I have orange zest in the icing?
Yeah, nice.
There's orange zest in the icing. The crunch layer is so good. I was telling Robert about how it was hard because like it's a combination of 3 different recipes. He thinks I nailed the icing, so I'm really, really happy.
Man, that's good.
I think that's it.
Sonny wants some.
I think that's very comparable to the bubble room.
She put on her orange.
That crunch
for
layer.
today. Did you see that?
See what?
She's orange.
She's orange.
You're orange for
Hold
today.
on. Sunny, show everyone how you're orange. Sunny, do you want a piece of cake? Do you? You want a piece of cake? Apparently you do. Did you wish Daddy a happy birthday?
She already did.
Are you trying to lick up everything I dropped on the floor? As I was making this cake? I always have to mop the floor after making anything because I'll make a mess. All right. I think it was another successful cake.
Very good.
You're very happy with it?
Oh, it's wonderful.
Good, good, good.
I think it's actually, I'm not going to say.
Anyway, I was saying
I think it's
before
better than what I've had in the past.
before Sunny rudely interrupted me, I was saying that crunch layer, I might start doing that with all the cakes. So simple, crushed walnuts, crushed graham crackers, brown sugar, and butter. That's it.
Wow.
Isn't that so good? And if you don't like walnuts, you can technically substitute any nut you want, like almonds or pecans or whatever, but we like walnuts. And I think the bubble room does
I gotta be
walnuts.
honest, they use almonds, but this is better.
You think they use almonds?
Yeah, I think they do.
One of the recipes did, or one of the, because like I was, I read 15 different recipes. Someone did use almonds. I'm just like, I prefer walnuts over
They get
almonds.
rubbery though. That's what I don't like about them.
They do.
They get rubbery and then gross.
All right, I'm gonna finish eating this slice of cake before we go visit a farm for the day. Thanks for watching. Please hit the like and subscribe buttons, and we will see you later.